The love languages inventory was really to help you understand who you are and to highlight differences, individual differences across our class, and hoping that you can parallel that to the patient population which you care for. My two tied for the top at 9 points apiece were receiving gifts and acts of service. And it wasn't a surprise to me that these are important to me. Um, Now, as a patient, also these things would be important to me. That relationship doesn't necessarily need to be a love relationship. And the example, the way we're using this in this class is to highlight, again, individual differences, but also to highlight what's important for each person. So knowing my love language also may parallel into the patient care realm. Let me give you an example. So acts of service. If I am in the clinic and I'm a new patient and I've got crutches and a backpack and whatnot, and my physical therapist is at the door to open it for me because it's a challenge to get into that clinical setting. If it's a challenge to get my backpack over to the table, that individual, that therapist is there to help with that, to assist with that. That's an act of service. Now, necessarily does it count if that aid, physical therapy aid, or if that just a random person that you have no relationship with is doing those things? It doesn't count. So think about you as a clinician and what you're offering your patients. And then do you know their love language, so to speak? And it relates to the patient expectations article that we'll be reading later on in the upcoming 8 weeks. So think about this exercise as a preface for highlighting individual differences amongst our patients. And then sort of reflection, a self-reflection on you and then your classmates, how much we differ. And I think the value in the assignment or the exercise will be evident then. Now I'd like you to take the love languages inventory and reflect in your video introduction on your top 2 components of your love language. Tell us if you think that was what you expected, if you're surprised or not, and then also tell us about if you were a patient at some point, if those were typical for you, if they aligned with what you were hoping your therapist would offer. When we think about areas like massage, physical touch, quality time, I think it becomes evident that when a therapist actually does hands-on activities or hands-on therapies with a patient, that patient satisfaction rating goes up, as well as spending time with the patient. So giving that patient education piece, just sitting and talking to a patient when they're receiving e-stim or some other type of therapy when you don't need to really be there, those things count. So think about that when you're thinking about your love language and how you'd like that to sort of play out and care for you. Alongside that, I'd like you to include in your introductory video a little bit about yourself so that I can learn about you as well as your classmates will learn a little bit about you as well.